Pleasure to have in studio with us the Mayor, Scott Maddasion. Scott, first of all, got a young family. The kids got to be excited about Christmas, aren't they?
Yeah, we're at a good age. So we're 5 years old, 3, and then 4 months. So we're gearing up, and the elf on the shelf is moved every morning, and they're excited when they wake up to look for that. So yeah.
I made the mistake of touching the elf on the shelf, and
boy.
one of my grandsons just totally lost it.
Yep. Yeah.
I know it. I didn't realize that you weren't supposed to do
No,
that.
it loses its magic powers.
Yes, I know it. I found that out.
Yep.
In a hurry.
Yeah.
So the 5 and 3-year-old are going to be, but the 4-month-old probably not going to be really.
Yeah, she's not going to be real excited about Christmas. But you know what? She's a happy baby, and she smiles all the time, and she's pretty chill, so that's good.
That is great. Well, it's going to be a white Christmas, and let's talk a little bit about the snow removal. I think the city, for the most part, has done a really good job.
Yeah. I think the plan that they have is really dialed in, and the folks that work in the public works and the other departments that help out with snow removal are doing a wonderful job. You just got to remember that there's a limited amount of personnel to do snow, right? And they have to have time off too. And there's some overtime that's being had because of this. But I think overall, they're hitting everything. Some things are faster than others. You got to remember that we've talked about it before on here. There's a 1, 2, and 3 priority. That number 1 priority is obviously the main thoroughfares, the highways, the emergency snow routes, things like that. Number 2 priority is that neighborhood level where there's high traffic, and then that 3rd priority is going to be those cul-de-sacs, dead ends, and places where they're not heavily traveled. So sometimes they got to hit the 1st priority a couple times and the 2nd priority a couple times before they might get to that 3rd priority, but you just know that there's a ranking system. It's not biased. It's kind of how we operate. There's 151 miles of road that they have to clear, and you got to think about it's both sides of the lane, right? So really, it's like 300 miles of road that they have to do. So appreciate everybody being patient, but I think they're doing a great job.
And yesterday I saw them on 2nd Street scooping up some of that snow that was still on the ground yet.
Yeah, I mean, when they design cities, they don't design spots to put snow, so it's all over the place. So yeah, we remove it and we try to get it out of the areas that we can. But if we keep getting more and more snow, it will delay some of those activities as well.
All right, but you guys doing a good job. Strategic planning for next 3 years, your first talking point.
Yeah, so we had a strategic planning session a couple weeks ago. Excuse me, myself, some of the new council members that are coming in January were there. We kind of went through it with a consultant, and we just talked about the things that we're looking for. We kind of reflected over the last 3 years. We did one of these it was either 2020 or 2021. We did one of these plans, and we accomplished a lot of that stuff. If you go on the website for the iCompass, you can actually see the whole report of all the things that we accomplished over the last 3 years, and then you can see these things. But a couple things that look out from the council side of things is partnering with local businesses to build a sports complex. That was on the council side and the staff side. That was the highest ranking thing was to look at building a sports complex. Not the Betplex, but something of that. Scaled down for Clinton, that would fit for our size. So that's a big thing.
Kind of similar to what, like Westwood over at Sterling Rock Falls?
Yeah, something like that. That would have multi-use courts, hopefully a track inside, place to put the fitness area, things like that. So Josh has a good plan for that. So something that we've kind of looked at. A couple other things that we're on there. We're looking at zoning and building codes, development of riverfront, creating a new brand and identity for Clinton, kind of a marketing strategy, to get for tourism and things like that. Exploring expanding police and fire to the western side, because as the rail park increases with businesses like Atlas and Super 8 and all those things out there, obviously we have to provide fire and police service out there. So expanding that way a little bit is something we want to look at. None of these are like concrete things that are happening, but just things that we're looking at. So
looks like you got a number of them there. So do you guys have a brainstorming session and just kind of throw things out?
It's basically what it is, yeah. And then we did a vote and kind of a ranking thing. So we kind of took the top 3 or 4 things on each of the lists, whether it was the council or the departments, and then we'll kind of as we work on our plans and our budgets, we'll kind of mold those to fit what we can do and what we can't do. There's a couple things on here like, splash pad, working on the entrance to Highway 30, making it more inviting as you're driving into Clinton than just that one sign that we have. Then there's a lot of other stuff on there, but yeah, it's kind of a fun exercise.
Yeah, multi-use courts out at Emma Young.
Yeah, this was a project that was on the meeting on Tuesday, which I think is a really cool thing. Obviously, the pickleball is a huge thing in Clinton and a lot of places, right? So the old tennis courts at Emma Young Park there are going to be redone, new fence, new concrete, new all that stuff, and it'll be basketball, tennis, and pickleball. So it'll be kind of a multi-use area so that we'll have some more pickleball courts. I think if you go down there on the riverfront, I mean, they're packed, and even the younger kids are there at the later time, right? So they kind of use them all day. So we'll have extra courts there. You'll still be able to do tennis. Putting in a basketball court at Emma Young they don't have one there, which is interesting, right? Yeah. So that'll be there now, and then we'll have pickleball as well, which I thought that was a cool project to highlight. That'll be getting done in the spring.
Okay, and then new animal service.
Yeah, so if you saw the Herald and you watched the meeting the other day, we did a memorandum of understanding with Big River Canine to handle dogs that are taken in by the animal protection officer. And this has kind of been a hot topic over the last few over the last few months. And really, this is we're required to do certain things by law. Which is not a lot in regards to animals, but we are doing everything that we're supposed to and that we're required to do, whether it's bite cases or neglect or things like that. So we're handling that, and we're going to be working with Big River Canine to handle that aspect of it going forward.
Okay, so prior to that, was it the Clinton Humane Society took care of that?
It was, and negotiations, I mean, you can believe what you want to believe online, but we had some good negotiations, but really what the crux of the thing is we were over budget $167,000 last fiscal year. And the year before that, I can't remember the exact numbers, but we've been over budget with that the last couple times. So the way the contract was being worded, or the way the contract ran, it's not that we can't afford it necessarily. It's just not sustainable, right? We need to have something more dialed in on the budget side of things where we can kind of project and realize costs that we're going to have. So it's just like anything, if you're paying too much for insurance someplace, you're gonna look at other options, right? So when the negotiations didn't kind of get where we would like to be, we looked for other options, and we found some of those options. And it's nothing against the Humane Society. We're not anti-Humane Society. I'm not either. I think they do a wonderful job up there. But we just found an alternative solution to help with what we need to going forward.
Will they continue to operate then privately?
They should. I mean, if you look at their website, I'm not speaking for them, but their mission is to take in stray animals and handle that kind of stuff. The fact that they're not taking stray animals right now is their decision. It's not our decision, right? We don't control their organization. So they certainly could take animals in, and I think they'll still continue to operate. I know there's a lot of folks that support them, and they get a lot of donations. And I've been up there, I remember doing a couple service projects there when I was in college and things like that. So definitely support them. I think they do a wonderful job. They're a great entity to have in our community, but in this case, when it comes down to budget, we have to be extremely fiscally responsible, and this is one thing that the council kind of wanted to refocus on and make sure that it was falling within budget.
What did Big River present to you?
So basically what it is there's a cap on how much we're going to pay as far as, for dog and boarding and things like that. It's $25 a day with a maximum of 4 days. And at that point, after 4 days, the dog either needs to be rehomed or adopted or whatever needs to be done from there. So with the old contract at the Humane Society, sometimes that long-term perpetual care where we're paying for months and months with an animal is just not sustainable for a city to handle, right? So
difficult issue, no doubt about that.
It's a difficult issue. It really is.
All right. We'll have more with the mayor after we take a break for the weather, brought to you by Prairie Lumber.
Happy Thursday. We are going to see quiet skies through the morning, but by the afternoon, a weather impact alert will be in place as we have a winter weather advisory for most of us, expecting anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snowfall accumulation, especially as we get through the evening and early tomorrow morning. I'm Storm Track 8 meteorologist Morgan Strackbein with your weather impact forecast.
Skies remain overcast, still those west winds. Temperature right now 25 degrees. Our update brought to you by Prairie Lumber.
Have your heating bills shot through the roof? Don't blame the roof. Chances are you need new windows and more insulation. Stop in and talk to the home experts at Prairie Lumber in Fulton about replacing those energy-wasting windows and the proper amount of insulation for your home. They have fiberglass and cellulose insulation, and when you buy from Prairie Lumber, you get free use of their machine to blow it in. Winterize today. Talk to the sales experts about replacement windows and insulation at Prairie Lumber, 915 2nd Street in Fulton.
FYI, on second Thursday, of course, that means the Mayor Scott Maddasion. Let's get into this next project, which is quite a bit for the city. I mean, it's a good thing, very good thing.
Yeah, so Hobo Project MG that we've talked about several times is a $1.7 billion renewable biodiesel plant. And we've been kind of trying to get to the finish line with this thing for 5 years. And where we're at now is we approved their questionnaire for the Iowa Economic Development Authority, which is where they go to get their state incentives for their project. This is the furthest we've ever been in this project, and getting that submitted so they can get on the agenda out there and get their state incentives is just that next step for them to purchase the ground and start building the facility. We're looking at by April they have to have this all these things finalized. That was the final extension that the council did with them. So moving to this step is a positive thing and good for the community, and it'd be really great to welcome them as a partner here.
So what does that really mean for the city? I mean, I would imagine tax money coming in, jobs, things like that.
Yeah, so it's like 60 to 70 jobs is what it would be, and it'll be like I said, the $1.7 billion. You're looking at like 1.3 billion of that, or something like that, or 1.2 is like machinery and equipment and things like that. So you're talking about probably a $500 million facility roughly that will be built out there, and they'll be doing renewable diesel using some feedstock that's in the area, and then sustainable aviation fuel as well.
Of course, you got Atlas going out there, a Super 8 is
Yep.
what you talked about.
Yeah.
Many more, do you think, or how's that looking?
I mean, this morning there was a meeting with Grow Clinton and some site selectors on a project that's potentially looking at the rail park as well, which is cool. So we do have some things on the horizon. We have some potentials, but nothing concrete that's going to be building or anything in the near future.
It's great to see that development. Of course, you got the airport out there, and they recently did a renovation. It's been a year or two since then.
Yeah.
But as you pointed out, the rail part and Atlas, every time I drive by, something else is going up in the air.
Yeah, and they're starting to hire people, and I know a couple folks that are working out there now. And
really?
Things. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting to see them really ramped up and getting going.
When will they be full go? Any idea when that might be?
I think it's by the end of next year, by the end of 26. As long as construction and everything and getting equipment timelines and all that stuff works. But I think by the end of next year they should be operational and start producing those asphalt shingles out there.
And what a great success story that was. I remember Andy telling me the story. He was getting ready to go golf. He was in flip-flops when he met with the people.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. It's really cool, and they're a really good company to deal with. And I know Andy's very excited, and we're very cool to welcome them.
And obviously the advantage is we're on the river, we've got the rail service, and the airport is right across the street from them.
Yeah, I know for them the airport was one of those kind of icing on the cake things too, because they can fly their corporate jet because they have multiple facilities across the country. They can fly right in and drive across the street and go to the facility and then go, which is cool.
And then you had what Nestle's done, Nestle Purina, ADM certainly, and there are many other factories in the area.
Yeah, we're lucky to have as many like Fortune 500 companies in our community that we do, and they're all really good community partners as well, which is even better. So not only do they provide jobs and stability for our families in the community, but they really are true community partners, and we are really appreciative of that.
Yeah, Lyondell, Basell, but there are many more.
Oh yeah,
no doubt about that. Home Rule Charter.
Yeah,
first reading?
We've talked about it a couple times. We delayed the first reading just because we needed to update a couple things that weren't in the reading on the other day and the meeting on Tuesday. We're not in a hurry on this, obviously. So January 13th will be the first reading of the Home Rule Charter Commission recommendations that they made to the City Council. So really, the changes that we're looking at are. as far as a initiative and referendum petition, removing the signatures from requirement of 1,500 down to 1,000. They thought based on population that was more appropriate. Changing the language of the mayor's job in the charter to match what the code says, whether it's state and whether it's our code. Changing from city manager to city administrator, because it's not the same everywhere. So we're matching up that stuff, and then taking out a couple other small items that don't really affect anything because they're covered in ordinances. So very small changes that they're looking at. Doesn't have anything to do with the makeup of the council. I know that was discussed, going from 7 to 5 and then changing to no wards. That stuff would have to be petition driven. So that's not what we're doing right now. We're just kind of adopting the other stuff that's really kind of trivial in that manner.
And now, will it be 3 readings on that then?
Yep, we'll do 3 readings. We won't suspend the rules. We'll just do it in 3 consecutive meetings. So you're looking at beginning of February is when it would officially be changed. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then before we let you go, and thank you so much for coming in. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you in the new year.
You as well.
Tailgate and Tall Boys. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So obviously the vote didn't go the way I was hoping it would go, and we will not be having an event in 2026. And it's disappointing, obviously. I definitely respect the council and their decision in that, even if I don't agree with it, right? Which is kind of how we need to operate. But hopefully we can regroup in the budget session here, and we can discuss ways that we could fund this to get an event back in 2027, whatever that will be, whether it's Tailgate and Tall Boys or whether it's something different. We'll kind of talk to the council and maybe have a brainstorming session on that and see if that's something we want to continue to fund, because I do think an event like that is important to have on our riverfront, right? It's important to have for the citizens, right? I think we have a great space down there. Yeah. I think if you've gone to the event the last 3 years, you realize how big of a deal it is and how cool it is. And I think what we need to do, and what Josh and I were trying to do, is really get a event where Clinton can get behind it, and the whole community can be excited and be involved in it. And that's really what we're trying to do. So we're going to keep pushing.
I can remember when you first talked about this, and you said one of the big selling points was the venue. They just loved our riverfront.
Yeah, I mean, our venue is really, really cool. I mean, it's it's not too often that you can have a big event like that right down in the middle of a city, right? Generally, these things are out in a field somewhere, where and it's really cool to be able to have it down there. I think it's good for our businesses too, that people are coming right into the city, because if we had it on the 100 acres we own out at the rail park, you'd come nowhere near Clinton, right? Yeah. Even though you're still there. And I just think this is a cool thing. And I think just like the nostalgia from Riverboat Days and things like that, I think this event like this is what can be our future. And I think it'd be cool, and people will be looking forward to it for years to come. So, again, hopefully we can get something going, and we can kind of refocus. But right now we won't have an event in 26. So.
All right. People want to find out more about what's going on in the city. How can they best do that, Scott?
Yeah, go to the website, follow Choose Clinton on Facebook, or just email myself or a council member. We'll get you the answers that you need.
Always appreciate your time again. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
You.